Dude, sis.
Who has been the most important person in your life?
Ooh,
Wow, yeah. These are Nimaki.
most important person. I think my dad.
And why?
Why? Wow. I don't think that really. Because he was a strong, charming. He was. You can tell on him. Was every time hoe zeg je dat? Ik kon altijd op hem rekenen. I could
You
count
could always count on him.
him. Yeah.
Sissy, that's why you don't have to type it now because we'll record. We'll do that later. Okay? Sis, so you can go faster with Moeke.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your saddest moment?
My saddest moment.
The day he died.
Veranderen ook katten. Draken. The moment I realized that my marriage was not a good marriage and that my children were unhappy and I had to do something to make it better. So I had to leave my husband.
Oh. We found a very good one. Okay.
Because I knew that if I stayed, my children would be very, very unhappy.
Oh, yeah.
And the saddest thing was that I couldn't give them the nest I had with my parents. Okay?
Well, your children love you, and they definitely.
Yeah, I know.
What is the most important lesson you learned?
The most important
lesson you learned?
The most important lesson I will. And whatever problems or sad moments you have, still have to believe in the good of man. There always is something good, and you have to hold on.
That's a very good lesson. What is your earliest memory?
My earliest
memory.
Childhood. I have lots of memories gone. I think that was when I was 3 years old, and my dad had got a message that his mom died, and we were in Africa, and she was already buried when he heard the news. I saw him cry.
What are you proudest of?
Proud of my children and grandchildren. Okay.
You know, you can ask follow-up questions, sis. Mm-hmm. Like you might ask why. Why or what specifically? Oh.
Well, because they grew up into good people, strong people.
Oh.
So I'm proud of that.
You should,
Huh?
you should be proud of yourself for that.
Nice.
Thank you.
True.
If you could hold on to one memory of your life forever, what would it be?
Die vraag me voorhand moeten geven. Hè. Memory to hold on. Many things, huh? The birth of my children, that was very special. The moment you give birth is a very special moment.
Mm. How has your life felt different than you imagined?
Mm. Mm. You imagine. Well, when you're young, you imagine a lot of nice, good things. Then you realize that it's not always easy. Life is sometimes very difficult, but you have to go on. I think that's important, that you learn every time. You have to realize that things that go wrong, you have to keep. There's always a moment you learn of it, and you have to take that with you.
Mm.
It's
You have
difficult.
to- Yeah.
You understand what I mean?
What?
Do you understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You have to
Yeah.
learn from your mistakes and move on.
Yeah. Then you have to go on and to learn of it. Yeah.
Do you have any regrets?
Easy questions, huh?
That's a difficult question. Regret. Yeah. That it took that I should have been acquainted with he earlier than I have.
Oh.
With vaker, hè? Ja.
What wisdom would you want to pass on?
Wisdom. Er was zoveel bij Steven. Always believe in the good of man. There is always good. You have to search for it.
All right. I'll remember that.
Yeah, remember that. Yeah.
Is there anything you've ever wanted to tell me but couldn't? And if there was, could you tell me now?
I don't know. I tell you now. Well, I will always love you.
Mm,
You're very special to me.
you too.
Yeah. You should do this conversation more often.
Yeah, we
From
should.
time to time, have a video chat.
Every
Huh?
week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we should call every week.
That's you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And,
Zeker.
earlier this week, I had a talk. It's already a year that you guys are left us, huh?
I know. I want
But
to
you're
visit
happy
them.
there, and it's good. Huh? That's important.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
What was your childhood like?
What was
Your childhood like?
my childhood? Oh, my childhood was very good. I had a very good childhood. I think that's the basic to be strong in your further life. Having a good childhood.
That's good. You deserve a good childhood.
Huh?
What was my dad like growing up?
He was, well, he had a lot of energy. He was always content and happy child, I think. Well, he suffered a bit from his father. And that's another thing I regretted, that I waited too long to left his father. So
Mm.
I didn't protect him enough.
Mm. All right.
Okay.
What? Okay. This is a fun question. What was the worst thing he did growing up?
The worst thing, he didn't do much awful things, so the worst thing. Oh, I don't know. There's not much. The fact that I have to search a lot means he didn't do something awful. Huh?
I guess so. Ah, darn it.
What?
I was about to get some dirty details on him. Ah.
Dirty details. No, he doesn't have dirty details. Not that I am aware of.
When did you first find out you were going to be a parent? How did you feel?
First, I'm gonna be a parent. I was very happy. I was pregnant.
Mhm.
I was very young too. Uh, yeah, it was a good thing.
What was the theme of your childhood?
The what? The theme.
Yeah.
The theme of my childhood. That's funny.
Like, was it sad or was it happy? No.
Happy. Yes. I had a teacher who said I was a butterfly. I was like a butterfly. I was always content and
Oh,
smiling.
that's good. What was school like growing up?
Cool. Yes. All right. I think it was all right.
What do you vividly remember being a big trend?
Being a big,
Trend.
what is that? Trend?
Dat is zoiets dat in de mode is, weet je.
Ah, ja. Wacht. Repeat question. What was?
What do you vividly remember being a big trend?
A big trend. The elephant trousers and the high, the 60s, huh? Yeah. Long hair, elephant pants, the Woodstock toestand. Ja. En een arm begint zeer te doen. Het gaat.
Who has made the biggest impact on your life?
Biggest impact on my life. I was always very impressed on reading the books of Iris Murdoch.
Of who?
Iris Murdoch, yeah. The philosopher, English writer, is toch Iris Murdoch, hè? They made a film of her with Kate Winslet. Her books helped me a lot during my emotional state after the divorce.
How would you describe a perfect day when you were younger?
Being in the mountains or at the seaside, something like that. Being outside in nature.
What did you think your life would be like when you were older?
Well, you mean like now, being older? Eh?
Like when you were an adult and when you were married and your kids, or what job you would have?
Oh. Ik naar de kant worden. Dus de vraag was. Could you repeat the question?
So, when you were younger, what did you think your life would be like when you were older?
Older. Well, in a way, easier, maybe. I didn't think much about life being older. I think I lived very in the now.
I see. What did you want to be when you grew up?
As a child, what are the... I wanted to be a mother. As a child. I am a mother. So.
And a grandmother.
And a grandmother, yes. Okay.
What were your religious beliefs?
My religious belief. As a child, I adored Mother Mary, and I used to make chapels for her, and so I read books about her, and I'm still a fan of Mother Maria.
Wow. What traditions have been passed down from your family?
What?
Traditions have been passed down from your family.
Traditions. That one. The annual barbecues, the Christmas parties, Easter, baking cakes, and my mom used to do that also, making pancakes for my children too. This Saturday we had waffles or pancakes, something. That's my tradition.
Yeah, my dad always makes pancakes.
Or his daughter.
How did the war affect you after it was over?
The war. I'm not. I'm born after the war.
Yeah, but like, did
But,
the way your parents act affect you or anything?
I suppose it affects more my parents. I think that's the reason a lot of young people, as my parents were when they left for Africa, that's because after the war they were seeking for a good life. And maybe the fear. My mom is someone who is very anxious, and I think that's an effect of the war.
Oh, I see.
She was overprotecting toward us, but we didn't really suffer about things after war. No. Okay?
Yeah. What was the toughest period in your life?
What period in my life?
No.
Well, the several years after the divorce, that was not easy.
But you got through it.
Well,
You got through it.
yeah,
Well,
I managed. Yeah.
well,
Okay.
that's the end of the interview.
That's at the end. Okay.